No one can tell you how this is going to end. But I can tell you, again, this isn't just about the president. It's about the other countries. It's about other people in the American government. It's about Congress. If I had to tell you the two biggest things that I'm concerned about, the two biggest things. One is I believe in co-equal branches. It's quaint, and the abdication of their co-equal status by members of Congress of both parties for decades makes it very difficult for me to say, because they've let presidents encroach, makes it very difficult for me to say how troubled I am, full-throated, that the president did not consult with Congress to get a war resolution before doing this. But that's I think there needs to be a robust national debate about that. And then, what is the end game? I've been asked 100 times. What's the off ramp? What's the end game? How does this end? It's unpredictable. What we've seen so far is the president in the video today. Uh, Other countries who were not particularly enthusiastic about this now are more enthusiastic because their citizens have been killed or threatened. So what we see now so far is when Iran succeeds, it so far 2 days in doesn't make the United States or other countries say, whoa, 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 we got to ratchet this down. Opposite so far, but there could be a tipping point where that changes. But I don't know that we've seen anything yet that makes it obvious how there could be regime change. And although I believe, as I said before, the president will be fine with this event ending, the military attacks ending in, I would say, a couple weeks. Without regime change, it would be a less good outcome. This can't go on forever. We run out of munitions. Those battleships can't stay in the water forever without going someplace and having refresh of personnel and equipment. And and that's why I think if there are negotiations, and that's a way it could end, but it would require a lot, as I said before. I don't think the president's going to stop the mission. I don't think he'll stop the mission while the talks are going on because he's skeptical that the talks will succeed. Okay, this attack in Austin, Texas, 131. We don't really know exactly what the deal is. We do know that the gentleman who's being accused of killing some people, shooting at them, uh, is was wearing a couple pieces of clothing that suggest a linkage to Iran, including more than linkage, wearing a shirt with the Iranian flag. So we'll see if there are developments on that during this hour. But that's of concern. This country has so many soft targets all over the country. That's a concern. Here's some good news if you want this operation to succeed. Um, 135. A lot of anger in Team Trump at Europe over their failures to do what the United States thinks they should do on Russia, Ukraine, but also on Iran. Here's this broke just a while in the afternoon. The UK has granted the United States permission to use British bases for operations to strike the Iranian missile depots. Statement from the Prime Minister. That's different than in the run up to the conflict. And then a statement just a little while ago from I think it is three European countries. This is number 132. Statement from, I think it's UK. Let's see. I think it's UK, France, and Germany. 132, please. Statement from France, Germany, and the UK. Quote, we will take steps to defend our interests and those of our allies in the region, potentially through enabling necessary and proportionate defensive actions to destroy Iran's capability to fire missiles and drones at their source. They also agreed to work closely with the U.S. and regional allies to address Iran's reckless attacks. Washington Post reports the Saudis were for this, even though publicly they didn't say so. Israel, of course, is still very much for this. The Gulf states seemingly increasingly for this, right? So China and Russia are not rushing to defend Iran. Iran is isolated. This is going well, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't mean it's going to end well, but it's going well. And the execution of the president's political team, the cabinet members, the other folks, they're doing a really good job, I can tell you, from what I can see. And the military, of course, is performing great because it's an extraordinary institution. So we're not declaring victory here, but it's going well. Loss of life is horrible. War is not going to, as the president said in his remarks tonight, you're not going to have a war without loss of life. But this is very simple. People want to complicate it. War of choice. Why now? Why now? Because the Iranians went into the streets in massive numbers, and the president said he would help them. Why now? Because that gives them the opportunity to try to get both reduce decapitate the regime, destroy their nuclear and missile capability, and then perhaps that bridges into regime change or get organic, secretly helped by the United States and Israel. That's why now. There aren't a lot of mysteries to this. Why is he doing it? I told you why. Why now? I've told you why. There's a mystery about when and if he'll consult with Congress, or Congress will force its hand on that. There's a mystery about how this will actually develop, oil prices and everything else. But there's so much speculation of why is he doing it and why now. And I just don't think based on what I've seen and what I know, that there are mysteries to that.